Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series, and since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
Welcome, race fans, to the Bullring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're here tonight for 150 laps of NMNTS Super Series action. I've got Brennan Elshoff and Zach Lindgren alongside of me. This is, of course, Andrew Cardinale in the booth, as always. Guys, we've got a bunch of cars out here in the desert, and 150 laps to go through. Zach, who's your pick to win tonight? I know it's real early, we only have practice times to look at, but Jake Watson leads, Andrew Wooten in second. Who do you got?
Well, when I was able to race in that first race with some of these guys, I raced with Andrew Wooten, and he was just the absolute class of the field. I think he knows these cars, he knows this track. Well, my pick's going to go to the floor of Andrew Wooten.
I'd have to say, just coming into this race, knowing that Jake Watson is a slightly bigger name in the world of iRacing late models, that I'd have to go with Jake Watson probably. Andrew Wooten is one of his teammates. I forget the team name. I can't help you there. I apologize. And I believe Divenzano in third place is another one of their teammates. So, Brendan, what would your pick be tonight?
I might have to go with probably one of the boys from our league, I guess you could say, that runs, every other week. I'm gonna go with Bradley Wilson. I think he put down a pretty good time, and he's got a pretty great understanding of the cars. So I think he definitely has a shot come the long game at this one.
Yeah, you know, that's a really good pick. Bradley Wilson is a big fan of these super late models here on iRacing, and I'd say he's probably got a pretty good chance. I think that's a really good pick to get tonight's win. You know, obviously 150 laps, only time can tell exactly who's going to win this thing and, you know, what might go on. Although Tyler Justice is looking to go 3 for 3 so far in these super late models. And if the Virtual Oval Championship race today told us anything, it's that these cars favor the guys who dominate. Those, you know, one of those drivers would be Akos Bakor in the Virtual Oval Championship race this morning from South Boston. And granted, this is a very different situation, completely different field of drivers. It might be saying something, at least for guys who go out here and just run their hardest week in, week out, and win a lot of races. Tyler Justice looking to go 3 for 3. Akos Bakor got his 5th win in a row today, guys. So that was pretty cool to see.
Sounds like he kind of dominated it.
Oh, yeah. Akos led, I think, yeah, definitely he led the whole thing. All 150 laps of that race went to the number 70 of Akos Bakor. And if you didn't get the chance to check that out live this morning, go either to our Facebook page, Pit Stop TV, or our YouTube, PSI TV, sorry, and you can check that out. It was a great race, really enjoyed it. And yeah, hopefully you guys can join me, at least one of you guys, in the booth next week for, I believe, oh gosh, I forgot totally which track they're going to next week. 5 Flags, that's right, they're going to 5 Flags. So that'll be race number 7. But tonight, guys, you've both raced with a lot of these guys many, many times before. What do you think we can expect tonight here, Brennan?
It's kind of a smaller track, even when it comes to, you know, running the short tracks for the super late model. So I think it's going to be a lot of navigating through lap traffic here, and a lot of really close nose to tail. A lot of the times are fairly consistent. We kind of have a top 5 or so that kind of break away from everybody else, but then everybody else is separated by just about 0.3 of a second there. So that's gonna be pretty close times, and I think it's just that, and it comes down to the management of the tires. The super late series, I don't know if everybody knows or not, that at the halfway break is the first opportunity and the only opportunity you have to take tires. So it's just managing to the halfway point, and then from there what you can do with them after the halfway break.
Yeah, these guys only get the one chance to get the tires, like you mentioned, Brandon, and that definitely played into the race at New Smyrna last week. Again, Tyler Justice won that thing. Oh, sorry for the commercial popping up there, guys, but Tyler Justice won that thing by miles over the rest of the competition. And again, looking to go back to back to back. He won at 5 Flags for the first race of the season. Unfortunately, Pit Stop TV was not able to cover that, but he's got a pretty good chance, I'd say, here tonight. He didn't do necessarily the greatest in practice, but he's always fast in the NMNTS, and I think he's got to be one to look out for no matter what. Hopefully you guys can agree as we get ready to go qualifying here. Devenenzano.
Excuse me, I'm drawing a blank here. Jake Watson. So we're going to have to see if he's able to muster up some courage here, battle with these guys, and put himself in a really good position.
And apologies, these guys were muted for a second. I fixed that halfway through your statement there, Zach. But either way, let's just get right into qualifying. Move on past that. We're watching Alan Westman right now as he goes out onto the track, puts it out on a qualifying lap. And actually, I think the guy to watch would actually be Tyler Devenenzano. So far, I believe, right on pole. We'll see if we can get a look at his qualifying lap here in a moment. It's going to be difficult because iRacing is throwing a fit with me. So we'll see if we can get a look at Devenenzano's lap. Again, he's one of the drivers paired with Andrew Wooten and Jake Watson. And right now they've taken back over that top 3, even in qualifying, guys. So clearly they have something figured out here. I know they thrive on these short tracks. This is what they do. and it'll be interesting to see if they can come into tonight into a brand new league, for them at least, and pretty much take over. I think there's a pretty fair chance of it at the very least.
Well, we've seen that happen. We've seen new drivers come in and just absolutely dominate. When Jared Beasley, to throw a name out there, first came into this series in the K&N series last year, his very first race, he dominated the whole race, had a little bit of a hiccup to finish the race, and ran out of fuel just before the checkered flag. But we've seen new drivers do it all the time. So right now, 4 new drivers, me personally, that I haven't raced with a whole lot in this league, are sitting 1, 2, 3, 4, with the next being Bradley Wilson in 5th. So right now, top 4 is nothing but new drivers that are going to battle it out for that top spot. The top 2 only divided by 2 1,000ths of a second, so we're just going to have to see which new driver can take it home and be fastest here at the Bullring.
Well, I can assure you guys, especially you, Brennan, because I think you were actually helping me admin the Snowball Derby a few weeks ago, and Zach, I'm not sure on what you were even doing. I totally forget. But a couple of months ago, actually now, we had Joe Lawrence in attendance, and he definitely showed some muscle. And I've raced him in the past in the Upper Edge Cup Series, and I can tell you he's the real deal. It'd be really cool to see him get into the other NMNTS Racing Series divisions on Monday and Tuesday nights, but I think he's got a really good shot here tonight. I know he's the real deal, and if he's paired with the Venenzano, Watson, and Wooten, that can only attest to their speed as well, and I think they have the top 4 locked down currently, so that's really showing what they can do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I say definitely got to agree with that. Just reiterating everything you guys have said so far, but definitely Joe Lawrence, I remember him, definitely, he stood out in the race for the Snowball, so definitely one to watch out for. Looks like he's going to have the pole tonight.
Yeah, and actually that's a good segue into what I was going to do right there. Let's pull up the results and show that to you guys. This is our top 10. Zach, can you go ahead and run us through it real quick?
All right, well, starting on pole is going to be the 78 of Joe Lawrence. As of right now, the 97 of Tyler DeVenzano. I'm sorry.
DeVenzano.
Thank you.
Get it right. Yeah.
He will be rolling off just behind Joe Lawrence in 2nd position. Joe Watson will be 3rd. Andrew Wooten will be 4th. Bradley P. Wilson will be 5th. Tyler Justice 6th. Aiden Young 7th. Kelsey Rogers 8th. Spence Thompson 9th. And rounding out our top 10 will be Jared Beasley.
Into the next 10 cars on track, Trayton Lapsevich, a name I recognize actually, in 11th. Jason Alexander in 12th. Mike Bruno taking care of the 13th position so far tonight. Jerry Glenn in 14th. Kenneth Yonce in 15th. Jesse Mason, in a brand new number for him actually, in the 16th position. Kyle Willis in 17th. Corey Walters in 18th. Alan Westman returning to the NMNTS actually this season. He was pretty quiet over the offseason, guys, but it's cool to see him back. And Trevor Harmon taking home 20th, and I know this is a home race for him. On to you, Brennan.
Alrighty, starting 21st tonight will be Terry Mason, followed by Michael Redding, 22nd. 23rd is going to go to Clayton Kurtz, with Derek Robinson in 24th. 25th tonight will be Kenny Yonce. Joseph Andahar will be 26th. 27th going to Daniel Hassar. 28th to Gordon Larson. 29th will be David Heise. That'll round out the field. And then we have Zach in here in the booth, and Robbie's going to admin tonight.
And I do want to mention Daniel Hasser, I think it is. If you're out in the chat, can you let us know? I know you've been in the chat relatively actively. Can you let us know exactly if the pronunciation of your name is correct? Just wanting to check there because it's a brand new name to us, and so I just want to be certain. But that will pretty much run us through qualifying. I'm going to look real quick and see if Joe Lawrence is in our team speak. And I don't see him, but this could be him right here. I'll message him real quick. Yeah, we'll wait and see if we can get Joe Lawrence, our current pole sitter, into the TeamSpeak tonight to chat it up with us. Looks like the first driver we're going to have, though, is Bradley Wilson, so we may just get to talk to him in a moment. For now, though, I'm going to pop up a quick commercial, and we'll be right back, hopefully, with our pole sitter. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We do have Joe Lawrence in attendance in our team speak, so we'll bring him up. And Brendan, I'll let you start off with the talking with our pole sitter here from the Bullring.
Ready?
User was moved to your channel.
Hey, Joe, this is Brendan up here in the PSI booth. You got a copy of this?
Yep.
Alrighty, buddy. Well, tonight looks like you'll be our pole sitter. How's the car feeling out there for you?
Pretty good. I didn't really expect that kind of time in qualifying, so pretty happy with that. I feel like I'm a lot better of a long run car, so we'll see if we can stay up front and save a little bit here.
It definitely will. Well, a little bit new to the series, but a kind of familiar name. I don't know if you remember the Snowball Derby that I think you ran with us. It's been probably a couple months ago, so we've seen a little bit of action from you. But anything else to note about? Wow. Excuse me there, sorry. Wow. About, anything, where you come from or what series you run, anything like that?
I don't really have a series I participate in full time. I just enjoy jumping around and having fun with a bunch of guys. Teammates did extremely well here in qualifying as well, so hopefully we can keep us all up front and take it easy here. Have some fun.
Definitely. Well, the opportunity, maybe if you have any sponsors or anything, anybody else you'd like to shout out, let you do that now.
Just Left Turn Motorsports and CN Chassis. It's a fun group to work with and excited to get racing here.
Alrighty, sounds good, bud. We'll get you moved back down.
Thank you.
Yeah, that actually reminds me. Thanks for bringing that up there, Brendan. He is from Left Turn Motorsports, so thanks, Joe, for the bit of information there. I totally forgot the team name, and so he's affiliated with the rest of the top four. That's going to be Tyler DeVenzano, Jake Watson, and Andrew Wooten. Good to have them in attendance. I know they're probably going to be the class of the field, at least at the start. We'll see how the rest of the race goes for them, though. Do we have Zach back?
Yes, sir.
Well, Zach, you kind of went quiet there, but did you get to listen to that interview with Joe?
Yes, sir, I did.
Well, I just kind of want to take a moment to appreciate the fact that you did spot for me in one of the races I got to race with him in. But then you left me on red for the rest of them.
Oh?
Just wanted to bring that up. Since we like talking about your 4 Fresh Desert Eagles, I'm just trying to fill time right now. I'm just trying to fill time, quite honestly. And
ouch.
We had to bring up the Desert Eagles. We had to kind of just...
You really did.
We kind of just had to get at you for a little bit. So, yeah, I needed that. I just needed to get it out there, man. Oh, yes, I am.
I hope you're having a good time.
Now, I know we had a bit of a moment while we were waiting to get Joe Lawrence into the team speak. Guys, have you figured out any more as far as the info regarding who's getting cut tonight?
I just received word from Robbie that Joseph Andujar missed the show tonight. He's not going to be driving in the 13 car tonight.
That is certainly interesting. Do you have any other info on that, or?
I'm waiting on the info. But as of right now, from race director, this is all I'm being told, that Joseph Andujar has missed the show.
All right, so you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Joseph Andujar looks like he has missed the show for whatever reason. We'll see exactly what that entails. It could be that Joseph Andujar on back is missing the show. He's in 26. They may only have 25 pit stalls available. So it could be Joseph Andujar, Daniel Hosser, Gordon Larson Jr., and David Heise all missing the show, but I'm not totally certain. Don't quote me on that just yet. We could have a moment where we need to turn that into a meme now. Don't quote me on that, but that could be one of the things that Race Control is getting at. Obviously, Race Control is normally in a bind just trying to get things figured out, so that could be the reasoning there.
It looks like from the back info there are 31 pit stalls, so I don't think that'll quite be the logic behind that. So I don't know what's going on.
The reasoning I just got was only 28 pit stalls and the top 20 were locked in. He was the slowest of the non-locked in cars.
All right, so then just Joseph Andujar will be going home. Daniel Hosser, Gordon Larson Jr., and David Heise will be in the show. And obviously Zach Lindgren is not in the show, considering he's talking to us right now. So
Yeah.
Looks like we're pretty much ready to go. I'll make sure race control is aware. And again, ladies and gentlemen, while we look at the back half of the results here, or really the back third, Terry Mason, as we've been talking about the previous couple of weeks here in the NMNTS Super Series, is the defending champion on this night. Looks like he's not quite getting tonight started like he might want to, but Zach, you can attest to it just as well as myself, Brennan can. He's still one to look out for.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I apologize. Terry knows how to really conserve his car no matter what position he's in. He could be in first position, he could be in last position, and still walk away with the clean car. He did get in trouble last week. A few cautions claimed him. It's going to happen at these extremely short tracks, but Terry was able to keep his car clean most of the whole year last year in the K&N series, in the K&N cars, and he was able just to walk away with the championship last year. Really no even contest. He didn't even win last year. He was just able to stay competitive, stay consistent, and he walked away victorious because of it.
Yeah, Terry didn't even get a win last year. Like you mentioned there, Zach, he just played Mr. Consistent. And that's the thing you have to do in a series like this, where sometimes these drivers may be in and out week to week. Being on a Sunday night, racing can impact their schedule. Obviously, on a weekend, anything can impact it. So we may not always have the same drivers week in, week out. We'll have at least the same core, like Terry Mason, obviously, and Derek Robinson and some others. But really, you have to just be the most consistent most of the time, I think is a decent way to put it. He didn't win anything last year. He came, showed up, and
he won the championship.
Well, obviously, that's what I was getting to. Is he just ran decently enough to get enough points. By the end of the race, he just kept the car in one piece, and he was in a pretty good spot. Ended up like 5th or 6th or 7th most nights, at least close to the top 5, if not in it. Got enough points to, at the end of the season, win the championship. It's just a straight-up brawl throughout the year. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what he can do. Starting from the 21st spot tonight, just ahead of Michael Redding, actually tied with him. And, we'll take a look through the grid now that we're getting to that point. And, Brendan, I'll let you kick it off with our top 10.
Alrighty. Well, our pole sitter tonight, as we mentioned earlier, is going to be Joe Lawrence. He's going to be followed with Tyler Ivananzano to his outside. Row 2 is going to start with Jake Watson on the inside, followed by Andrew Wooten to his outside. Row number 3 is going to be Bradley Wilson on the inside with Tyler Justice to his outside. Row 4 is going to be Aiden Young on the inside with Kelsey Rogers on the outside. And row 5 will be Spence Thompson on the inside with Jared Beasley to his outside.
In 11th starting spot, we'll have Trayden Lapsevich out of Canada. To his outside, in row number 6, we'll have Jason Alexander, followed up by Mike Bruno in the number 19 to the inside of row number 7, Jerry Glenn to the outside. And in row number 8, we'll have Kenneth Yonce and the number 3 of Terry Mason. Moving on to row number 9, we'll have Kyle Willis out of New England and Corey Walters out of the Northwest. And in row number 10, we'll have Alan Westman out of the Midwest, Trevor Harmon out of Fort Mojave, Arizona. To you, Zach.
All right, well, picking up from 20th, we're going to have Terry Mason 21st, Michael Redding 22nd, Clayton Kurtz 23rd, Derek Robinson 24th, Kenny Yonce 25th, Joseph Vanduar, who did not make the show, will not start. Daniel Hassar will be 26th, Gordon Larson will be 27th, and rounding out our field is going to be David Heiza in 28th.
Yeah, David Heiza, another one of those guys who's pretty much just consistent. May run in the back at the start, but he definitely finds his way through the field by the end of the race just to collect enough points to be in the points battle by the end of the season. So we'll see how this season goes. Obviously, anything can happen. You got a lot of new faces throughout the field. Throw Daniel Hasser into that mix, Kenny Yonce as well. Even Clayton Kurtz, I believe, going for a full schedule, whereas last year it was much more partial. Trevor Harmon now in that talk. Let's see, Kyle Willis even in the mix. Just a bunch of new names going on. Jerry Glenn, Trayton Lapsevich, Kelsey Rogers, Joel Lawrence, and more. So as these guys get going on their pace laps, Tyler Divenzano to the outside, and Joe Lawrence to the inside of row number 1. These are your first 2 starters for tonight at the Bullring Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And guys, this really is a fine facility. They even have a dirt track on premises, and I cannot wait for that dirt track to hopefully come with the addition of the Charlotte dirt track here coming up soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. iRacing's adding a lot more stuff, and they're adding a lot more dirt stuff for some of the dirt guys to get out and play around on. And like you said, people can't wait for it. Me, myself, I'm an asphalt guy, but dirt guys just can't get enough of it, man.
Definitely. And Brennan, you've been quiet for a little bit. I'll let you take the start of this race. Joe Lawrence is coming right at you, coming into turns 3 and 4.
Alrighty, pace car's already in. We're just waiting for start here. No lane changes as we get the green here as they're both underway. Great start by both Joe Lawrence and David Zano. I don't think we saw anything really not particular, but as I mentioned earlier, there's no lane changes. That goes throughout the whole NMNTS series there, so you have to stick in your lane until you get to the line. Now we see Lawrence here starting to pull away. Got a clean break here, not battling anybody to his outside. And as we can see already, we already have some lap traffic up ahead.
Yeah, this is a very small track, only about 38 hundredths of a mile, so just under 4/10 of a mile, I believe. I could be a little bit wrong. These guys already starting to catch up to a couple of guys who didn't get quite fired off as they would have liked to on the start. Jake Watson, Joe Lawrence at the front of your field. It looks like actually Daniel Hosser and David Heise are going to cause almost a roadblock on the inside line. The leaders are going to try and navigate through turns 1 and 2. Lawrence has to check up for Hosser. Now Hosser's going to get out of the way. The MR Motorsports driver taking to the apron. Jake Watson trading laps.
Oh, he came back up the track.
He came back up the track. Cautions out in turns 3 and 4. Thanks for the call there, Zach.
It looked like the 82 was trying to stay on the apron as much as he could. Came back up the track. I don't know who he collected, but it looks like he was just carrying too much speed to stay on the apron.
Notice while they were getting ready to lap, and the 7-Eleven had a lot of front end damage there, so I don't know if there was an incident that didn't draw a caution or.
And it was the 32 Trayton Lapsevich that the 82 of Daniel Hosser came right up in front of. There must have been something on the start, a checkup being in the middle of the corner when these guys actually got going. And that would fit the back end damage that the 82 already had, plus the front end damage all over the 7-Eleven of David Heise. You see the result of that bit there. Hosser in the center of the track, just nowhere to really go. Like you said, Zach, just brought it in too fast. We'll watch it again. Came almost right in front of Tyler Justice and then just smoked the front end of Trayton Lapsevich. He's also going to check up right in front of Kelsey Rogers, who was right in front of the 19 of Mike Bruno. So nowhere for these guys to go, unfortunately. They're already pretty much up a creek without a paddle, and they're going to have a lot of damage to work with on just, lap number 3.
And these cars are extremely durable, but, I mean, with plowing into the back end of a slow car like that, it's really going to take its toll. Plus, getting plowed in from the back end of you, it's just, it's really a difficult situation for these guys. The accordion effect took a big effect there on some of these guys, so we're gonna have to see how well his car is able to manage. But right now the 32 looks like he is in a bit of trouble, just catching up to the end here. But we're gonna have to see how well his car is able to go.
I went back and checked that restart actually, and it happened as soon as the green flag dropped. It looks like Daniel Hassard did not get a great start at all, and 7-Eleven, David Heise unfortunately got into the back of him, sent him around. That's how he got his front end damage. And they ended up actually making contact again almost right away when they both tried to get it fired back around. A rough night for them so far.
Apologies for the camera going every which way. I was trying to focus on a specific car, and iRacing just was not participating. But coming to the restart, Zach, it'll be your call. Joe Lawrence still on the inside with the lead. Jake Watson, his teammate, to the outside. Devenanzano in third. Wooten in fourth. Wilson in fifth. What do you got for us, Zach?
All right, well, the car's fired off really quick in the middle of 3 and 4. The 78 will have a large gap on the 88 of Jake Watson. Joe Lawrence being the 78. Right now, the battle is for third. The 4 of Andrew Wooten will go against the 97 of Tyler Devenenzo. I apologize if I continue to butcher that name. They'll get single-filed Everyone 1st through 5th, it looks like almost 1st through 10th now will be single file.
And I want to draw attention to the 51 real quick. Bradley Wilson got a little bit tight on the restart coming out of turn 4. He may or may not, and this will go up to race control. I don't want to speculate too much, but he may or may not be under review for a possible lane change violation. We'll see exactly what happened. Didn't look like he came up too far, but I noticed he pushed out of 4 trying to come to the restart, so it's something to at least think about. Pass for the lead. Jake Watson to the inside.
And as you were talking there, Andrew, about the 51 possibly having a lane change violation, race control came over and said the restart was clear. They were reviewing it, but they said that there was not enough video evidence to show that the 51 did change lanes. Restart was clear, as the 88 does take the lead away from the 78.
Again, we're back to some lap traffic up ahead, so as we mentioned earlier, it does not take too long. It looks like it's going to be the 82 of Daniel Hassar again. Just a really rough night for him. Looks like he's got some more rear end damage. Just going to pull it off to the side here so leaders come through.
Yeah, and hopefully that doesn't draw a caution, but I think he's far enough off of the racing surface that iRacing parameters shouldn't give us a yellow flag. As right now, the left turn motorsports guy is just showing really the whole field up right now. They've got a pretty decent gap on Bradley Wilson, but he's certainly not out of it. Caution just ahead of these guys. It's David Heise. And Heise is going to wait for the field to go by before he refires and gets back rolling. So we'll use this as a moment to check out the replay. Again, the number 711, David Heise, already not having a great night. You saw him involved in a little bit of a scat there with the 82 on the restart, or on the first initial start, and then almost ended up being Hassar, or at least in Hassar's situation by the time they got to 3 and 4. He almost got in the way of the leaders for a moment. Then this time, it was Trevor Harmon into his left rear. Just a bit of a tap to the left rear sent the number 711 around, and believe me, you cannot... Oh, actually, I think Tyler Justice got a piece of the 711's nose.
Yeah, it does look like he has some right front damage. I think he caught a little bit of him. The field was navigating through him.
Yeah, we're looking at this in slow-mo. Tyler Justice definitely at least scraped the front end of the 711, gave himself some right front damage. I'm not sure if that's going to play into effect, but there was at least something that went on there after the spin that came from the contact with Trevor Harmon into the back end of David Heise. So we'll see if that affects the number 7 going for his 3rd win in a row in any way, shape, or form, but definitely not what you want to have at the start of your race.
Another thing, Tyler was just given an EOL penalty there. Hoping that was cleared. I think that was an accident there. The other thing I was going to say is the 36 at Kelsey Rogers is going 11 laps down, and he's 12 laps down. He's just now pulling out of the pits there, so don't quite know what happened with him. I know he received a little bit of damage there, but I don't think it was enough to keep him in the pits that long.
Well, it may have given him required repairs, and he may have just opted to take, take the full extent of the repairs while he was in the pits. What do you have for us, Zach?
Well, right now, looking at it, like Brendan said, giving Tyler Justice an EOL was a mistake. He actually gave it to Trevor Harmon. He gave him the EOL penalty. I believe for aggressive driving, I believe race control said it could have been preventable, and the 27 got into him. I personally wasn't able to see the replay. As we go double file, Trevor Harmon will be headed towards the back.
Well, as the field doubles up and gets ready to restart this race, it's now lap 21, coming to lap 22 of 150. Waiting for the pace car to pull into the pit lane. Now waiting on the signal from the race leader, Jake Watson. He's off and away. Race is back under green. These guys have to wait till the start-finish line again to basically wait until they can change lanes. You saw everybody do that, I do believe, at least in the front. Caution in the back. And I think it's Jerry Glenn.
Everyone's scrambling to get around. Let me try to find him here. You said Jerry Glenn?
It was definitely the number 98. We'll get another look at it. It was the number 98 restarting just behind Mike Bruno and to the outside of Spence Thompson. And Spence Thompson actually, I think, got into the 19 of Bruno and the 98 of Jerry Glenn. He saw the 2 of Michael Redden catch Jerry Glenn as he was already spun. And that definitely did the nose of the 98 in. He had no other damage aside from door damage before then. And that definitely chopped the nose of the 98 pretty much in half. we'll get one more look at this, see what we can see from Spence Thompson's point of view on this restart.
To me, he definitely got... Oh, sorry.
Spence Thompson, one of the past champions in the NMNTS, and be interesting to see exactly what happens here. Brendan, I believe you had something for us.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say, it looks like definitely got into the back of the 19 there, but for me, at least on my replay, it showed that with the 98, it was just a little bit of net code there, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. And really the 98 spun in a lucky part of the track. That's where the track opens up for people to enter it, go into the infield for it. So really they had a lot of space to get around him. Michael Redding just barely clipped him. He was behind a car, probably didn't see the spin until the last second. But really the 98 spun in a really lucky spot. Everyone was able to scatter pretty nicely for him, as you saw the 43 just barely dart to the high side of him. So really the 98 off lucky there. He did get some front end damage, which is unlucky for him, but really spinning in that kind of part of the track is extremely lucky for him.
Yeah, definitely, and it could have been a lot worse being stopped in front of most of the field as they came by. Obviously the field in one pack on a restart like we've seen so far. Now that's 3 cautions. We'll be coming to restart number 4, or restart number 3 technically, since we got the start of the race for the 4th one of those. But these guys are definitely getting some restart practice, and that's going to come in key. If this race happens to continue this way, it's going to be key to get your restarts down and get up through the gears before anyone else, so you can actually try and fire out of turn 2, especially ahead of the guys you're around, and try and get some positions. Even if this starts going clean and green from here, this is restart practice, and it's going to be useful towards the end of the race if we get any cautions. So no matter what, these restarts are key, even though it's so early in the race and it might not seem like it, Brennan.
Yeah, definitely. And, it's saving a lot of the tire management too, so if we do get a green flag stint here, everybody's on a little bit fresher tires, so it gives you an opportunity to push a little bit harder coming to the stage break.
Although, since you mentioned that, the negative effect of that could be that, these guys get up to speed for the first time in a long run. They run maybe 50 laps under green. They haven't done that in just one full stint before, and they don't know how the car is going to react. So it may be good for now, but it could be bad later. Zach, what do you got for the restart?
It looks like the 88's just checking up with the 78 here. They'd like to fire off in the middle of the turn. He will do that again. The 88 of Jake Watson will fire off, leave the 78 hanging. For of Andrew Wooten will look to the inside. We'll get a good run going into the corner number 1, coming out of corner number 2. They are side by side going into 3. The 4 of Andrew Wooten will have P2 coming out of 4, coming to the next lap after the restart.
Yeah, and these guys are finding their positions in this field. Jake Watson has found his in P number 1. He's definitely firing off on these restarts pretty decently. Andrew Wooten now through to second, like you mentioned, Zach. Joe Lawrence to third. Tyler Devenzano into 4th. Bradley Wilson is hanging back a little bit, but still in this battle. He's got In Young and Tyler Justice, who almost got the wall out of turn 2, pretty much right on the back end of that discount shop tiles 51. What do you got for us regarding the 10th place position, though, of Jared Beasley, Brennan?
Jared looks like just sticking there right behind Bruno. It kind of checked out a little bit behind him. That's about a half-second gap. This is Corey Walters there. So far, pretty much nose to tail through the top 10.
And Tyler Justice having some struggles early. You see Mike Bruno cut him some slack there considering their teammates, but man, this number 7 is not going forward anytime quick. The number 7 Sim Spec Monte Carlo having some issues in the early goings, lap 34, and he's already hit the wall a couple of times on screen in the last couple of laps. Devenzano, though, in 4th. He's starting to put some pressure on Joe Lawrence for 3rd. And now Andrew Wooten to the back end of Jake Watson for the 1st position. Jake Watson won the battle at the Bullring a little while ago, I believe right before our super late model run at 5 Flags for the Snowball Derby. I could be wrong on that, but I know he's definitely won big races here before, so it looks like he's trying to back that up here tonight.
Definitely. The top 2 are really starting to pull off a pretty substantial lead now to Joe Lawrence behind him, almost 2 seconds back there, so
yeah.
Don't know if it's maybe a little bit of strategy play or what they're doing here, but they're really starting to check out.
I'm not sure if there's any kind of strategy to this other than try and lead the most laps. Jake Watson firing off on all 8 cylinders right now, and that double 8 so far looking really, really good, traveling through the corners really nicely. Obviously, these are fixed setups, but he just has this place down. Andrew Wooten, his teammate behind him, having some more issues. You hear some downshifting actually from Andrew Wooten trying to catch up to the number 4. Caution's out. And I'm not sure where that is. Oh,
somebody gets spun around.
There's the 5 of Jason.
Yeah, Jason Alexander, the 5 car, right in front of the leaders too. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was really close. And actually, I think this is going to start with, yeah, this starts off with Kenneth Yonce.
Oh, it looks like the 70. Yeah, like you said, the 72 of Kenneth Yan started with it. Still trying to get the full replay going.
Yeah, it just looks like something everybody trying to get back down, and unfortunately, it's just you can only brake so quick in these to get slowed down. So some contact there between a bunch of guys.
Yeah, this is all going to start off with the number 3 of Jesse Mason, just barely, I think, but into the back end of the 72. No contact at all. The 72, Kenneth Yonce, just got a little bit loose, and Clayton Kurtz just didn't have the brakes to get slowed down before he plowed into the 5 of Jason Alexander, sent him for a spin, and that's what we got this caution. Jerry Glenn, Terry Mason also picked up some damage under this caution. That's caution, I think, number 4 on the night. Jake Watson's still your leader in the number 88 car, and I tell you what, that looks fitting for a short track. I don't know, I love the look of this 88 for some reason.
Yes, his designers knew what he was doing. He knew he was going to put a super late paint on there, and he knows what super lates look like, probably. He probably went to some in real life races and figured, hey, let's give this guy one heck of a paint. Like you said, it obviously gave him one heck of a paint.
You know, Zach, that statement almost rivals 4 fresh Desert Eagles.
Yeah,
he probably knew what that. He probably knows what a super late model looks like. Well,
I mean, I don't like. You gave me nothing to work off of, or else we would have been dead silent in here. I was trying to give us something here. I did, however, give us another meme. So I mean, it's a win-win situation.
Oh,
well,
man.
I'll do my part again to wrap us back into the race again. So yeah, definitely have to agree on. It's pretty simplistic, although you figure out these cars, you're not going to roll around with 5, 6, 7 sponsors on the car if you're, you know, a local town guy, Adam. So it's definitely realistic. It looks like just the one clutch graphics is the primary on there. So definitely something pretty simplistic what you'd expect to see at your local track, though.
Yeah, it's definitely a really good look. Almost a bit intimidating, I'd say. It has some elements of, you know, some darker colored, very intimidating machines that came to the short tracks back in the day. It just, I don't know, it's got a nice look to it. But tell you what, really the whole front of the field looks pretty good. And we're coming to the restart. Pace car in. Jake Watson in control of the field. Looks like he'll probably wait till turns 3 and 4 once more. And he fires off on all 8 cylinders. He's got a double 8 on the car. Must mean something. He's fast and into turn number 1. Zach, what can he give us to meme up today?
Well, I think I already gave you that material, but going back a little bit further here, the 78 is on the inside of the 4. The high side does not seem to be getting a good restart, as the 4 does pull off from the 78. The 78 of Joe Lawrence got a little loose coming out of 4. They will single file out all the way back to what looks like 7th as Tyler Justice is battling Spence Thompson. Will get the position. Turn 3. Oh, a little bit of a check up there. Could have been big, but these guys avoided it pretty nicely there. Single filed out through the top 10.
Yeah, and I want to go back
to...
the
17.
Oh, 17. 17 on the 28 of Corey Walters. Both of them
two
smoking. They
43
might.
Also involved. A bunch of guys actually tangled up after the initial contact.
32.
We'll get a look at that. But this is going to start with the 32, Trayton Lapsevich into the 17 of Alan Westman. Just cleaned him out, really, in turn number 2. Sent him and Corey Walters into the fence. We'll watch this one more time, hopefully from another view. Yes, we will. Again, watch 32, the white, yellow, and black car. He gets right into the 17 of Alan Westman. I'm not sure what he thought was going to go on there, but definitely got right into the left rear. Just wasn't enough room. And got right into the left rear of Alan Westman. Sent him for a bit of a ride into the outside wall. And then you saw a little further back, Kyle Willis, Michael Redding trying to avoid this wreck, make contact. You see the 43 just turned down. He was already by it. He tried to turn down though, anyways, to avoid it. And he got into the 2 of Michael Redding. Clayton Kurtz also dove to the apron to avoid the mess. No further damage or wrecks after that, though.
I'm surprised. It looks like no penalty is going to be handed out there. The 32 almost took it completely onto the apron there to make that pass, so I think that was maybe a bit of aggressive driving, but maybe just a warning handed out that time.
And Brendan, as soon as you said that an EOL was given to the 32 of Trayton Lapsov, I apologize, Andrew. Thank you. It was given an EOL to him, the 32, and right now Corey Walters will take it behind the wall. He is done for the night.
And apologies for the iRacing overlay there for a minute. I was trying to fix this camera so it wasn't just looking down from above the entire night. Now it should be a slightly nicer angle to look at the race from this blimp cam. And again, yeah, it's a very good call there, Zach, to bring in that we should get a penalty for the 32. I believe that's what you were saying. I was kind of preoccupied, but I was trying to listen. Was that right?
Yeah, yes, the 32 was given an EOL penalty.
Yeah, I was halfway in, halfway out trying to fix this blimp cam because sometimes they don't work out like I want, even though I put plenty of time into these cameras each week. And anyways, moving on. We should be doubling up this time. We are. You see the outside lane pulling up next to their inside lane counterparts. We've gotten one short green flag run in. That means these tires aren't really going to be worn out. And we're getting pretty close to the halfway break, which will come out on the completion, or at the completion of lap 75, though. Coming to the restart for lap 53 is Jake Watson, Andrew Rutten to his outside. We'll see how early the 88 fires off, and he's already away pushing those Hoosier tires to get up to speed. He's going to get a huge lead already over Andrew Rutten. Now Joe Lawrence going to battle with the number 4. The number 4 going to clear him into turn number 3. Now Joe Lawrence has to worry about Devenanzano. Here comes Bradley Wilson. Tyler Justice as well.
Yeah, this time they're actually sticking with him pretty well. Especially Bradley Wilson. He's right there on their tail.
A little further back, we have some NMNTS regulars battling for a couple of spots here. Mike Bruno, Spence Thompson, Michael Redding, Jared Beasley, all in a big gaggle of 4 cars. Now here comes Jesse Mason, even Kenneth Yonce into the mix. I think Kenneth Yonce is actually a lap down. No, he's not. He's not a lap down, sorry. Jerry Glenn, Terry Mason further back battling. Kenny Yonce now in the mix as well. You see Clayton Kurtz getting into the mix. Here comes Kyle Wilson. Oh, 75 into the 98. Big contact. They'll keep it straightened out, but a big hit from the 75 of Terry Mason to the 98 of Jerry Glenn.
It looks like the 98 just has a really early breaking point, and it's hard for the 78 to get on the binders. Carries so much momentum going into each corner that the 75 just gets into the back of him. Right now, they're keeping it clean as of right now, but this could be something that we got to look into as more and more as these tires wear further and further down the road.
Definitely, and as we look further back, I mentioned Kyle Willis just a moment ago. He's now falling into the clutches of David Heiza and Derek Robinson, both from HRL Racing, sorry. Now Trayton Lapsovich working his way back through the field. He's a name to watch. I know he's quick. He just hasn't had his luck go his way. Trayton Lapsovich trying to work by these guys. We saw him have the run-in with Alan Westman a bit ago. We'll see how he navigates the field this time around. Trying now to get by the 43 of Kyle Willis, and a big check up there from David Heiza. No caution, but 3 wide into turns 3 and 4. Kelsey Rogers on the top side. There's contact. They hang on to it. The 36, though, a little bit of sideways out of turn number 4. Now the double O. Gordon Larson Jr. checking out to keep from wrecking anybody. Daniel Hosser now going to try. Actually, no, he's going to let him go. And we saw the 27, Trevor Harmon, go by the double O, not for position. Trevor Harmon having an off night. He's currently in 24th, Brennan.
It's definitely a rough night for him. He had some contact a little bit earlier on. He got involved with, and actually I think he did get sent to the back of the field a little bit earlier. Other than that, though, he's 2 laps down. I don't quite know what happened there, but tough break for him tonight.
And as you're talking about these gaggle of cars right here, the leaders have caught the 82 of Daniel Hauser. Pretty much the tail end of that gaggle of cars towards the rear, that only the 88 and the 4 have caught him so far. The 4 of Andrew Wooten, the 88 of Jake Watson right now are pretty much the big 2 to check out. 2 seconds behind them would be Joe Lawrence and the 97 of Tyler Devenanzano. They've caught the 82, excuse me. They're going to take it about 3 wide. The 82 in the wall to make sure he's not in it. Cautions out on the speedway.
car in turn 3 in the wall, and we had Jason Alexander pulling back onto the track. He was pretty slow. I don't think that brought it out, though.
Yeah, I'm looking around for this caution. I think it was Trayton Lapsevich. We see him now in the pit lane, and he was around the 43 who I saw involved in this as well, so that could have been where it was. Trayton Lapsevich in the number 32, just trying to run his race, got loose into the outside wall, ended up packing it, and then packing the 43 as Kyle Willis tried to avoid him on the top side. You see the result of that, Trayton Lapsevich pulling it behind the wall for the night, opting to tow as well. Kyle Willis, though, going to keep rolling with significant left front damage.
Right now, this will pit the 43 one lap down, and it will not give him the lucky dog. He was in position to get the lucky dog, but because of this incident, he will not get it. The lucky dog will go to the 82 of Daniel Hauser. I don't know if they'll give it to him as well. He was in the wall, probably gave him a few damage points when the caution came out, so we might not even have a lucky dog. The 43 and the 82 will stay a lap down.
Meanwhile, though, in the front, I just want to once more mention these guys who have just locked down the front of the field. Actually, Trevor Harmon will get the lucky dog. You see him rolling by the field. But, man, these guys coming into this race, Andrew Wooten had run a couple of races with these guys before. Joe Lawrence ran the Snowball Derby. But the fact that Jake Watson and Tyler DiVincenzo have just come into the situation so prepared. They haven't even fallen out of the top 4, I don't think, any of them. They are just running this race right now, guys. I'm not sure they can be totally touched, but I will say, more to this point, that Tyler Justice is right behind them and in a pretty decent position to try and make something happen should he get the chance on this restart. Bradley Wilson looks like he can at least hang with them, maybe can't make the moves he wants to make to get by some of these guys on the restarts, but he certainly does not have a bad car, just hasn't had the opportunity to do something with it just yet, Zach.
And you know, the window to make a move at this track is so small, especially for anyone up front, because of the fact that you're in clean air and you've got a fast car. The only time to make a move is when you're in that clean air and there's not a car in the line that you're running. Pretty much the leaders can catch the tail end of the field very, very quickly, or someone behind them can catch that very, very quickly as we start to double up. Really, if you want to make a move, you got to do it early, you got to do it fast, and you got to make sure it's going to stick so you don't run into the person either in front of you or behind you.
Yeah, definitely. The window for opportunity is very, very small as these guys come to the restart. Andrew Wooten on the outside of Jake Watson. Jake Watson waiting to the center of the corner. He gets on the loud pedal. He's off and away. Jake Watson back in control of this race, Brennan.
And we have 5 laps now to the stage break. Immediate
Caution's
yellow flag
already
out.
out.
And I will definitely say as we get another caution, I'm not sure on the exact number, that the race control will get this underhand, ladies and gentlemen. They will start getting penalties if necessary to the drivers causing the most issues. And we'll watch what happens on this restart, though I think it has something to do with the 82 of Daniel Hauser. We saw him go to the pit lane. And yeah, he was loose on the bottom side, restarted from the apron. I'm not sure why, but he chose to restart from the apron. Got loose immediately because he was on the rumble strips as well at the right side. Lost right side grip. Right wheel spun, immediately spun him out. And that will constitute as our halfway break. So we should be seeing the leaders into the pit lane this time by coming into your Discount Shop Towels pit road.
I was to say, the one opportunity maybe for somebody like Tyler Justice or Bradley Wilson to get ahead of these guys maybe is just to take 2 tires, since there really hasn't been a lot of wear put on them, and see if they can get out front and make it stick.
And as the leaders come into their pit stalls, it's a good point to mention, Brennan. Again, this pit road and this halfway break opportunity for tires sponsored by Discount Shop Towels. I believe the code is Thunder18. Bradley's going to have to correct me on that if I'm wrong when he gets the chance. But I believe the promo code to get 5% off of your order at discountshoptowels.com is Thunder18. Again, I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm not. These guys will fire off and away. Andrew Wooten, the first of them. He'll take the lead for the first time tonight. Then it's Joe Lawrence, Jake Watson, Tyler DiVincenzo, and Mike Bruno to complete your top 5 out of the pit lane, Zach.
Yeah, and the closest one that I saw to rival these guys out was actually the 19 of Mike Bruno. He got a really good stop. He was able to beat out a lot of his predecessors, should I say. He's able to beat out Aiden Young, Bradley Wilson, Michael Redding, and Tyler Justice. It looked like everyone, though, took 4 tires that took the time for 4 tires, so we're going to have to see if people on new tires is able to rival these front 4. I mean, these guys have had an absolute stranglehold on the top 4 all night long.
And quickly, as we focus on the number 8, sponsored by DiscountShopTowels.com, once more, just want to give them a shout out for being great partners of the NMNTS Racing Series and sponsoring this halfway break along with the pit road in the NMNTS Super Series. Clayton Kurtz, their biggest representative, but don't forget the number 51 of Bradley Wilson. We'll see if we can get a look at his back end. I know that's where the logo is, so we'll go to Michael Redding, go to the nose cam, and there you go. You can see it on the back end of 51, DiscountShopTowels.com. A great place to check out if you're needing some shop towels cheaply. So definitely go ahead and give them a check out. Again, that's DiscountShopTowels.com. Brendan, these guys should be coming to you in about a lap or less. They're doubling up, but there's still a couple of guys in front of them. I think they're
those
finally...
were lapped down? Maybe not.
I'm not
3.
sure.
Yep, waved it.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, they'll delay the green. I'm not sure what's going on here. The pace car will go through the pit lane very, very quickly. I think Jesse Mason may have missed the call to go by the pace car and get his lap back. So now he'll go by. These guys will line back up once again. Again, it's Andrew Wooten with the control over the restart this time for the first time tonight. Brendan, they're coming to you.
Ready. We have the pace car pulling again. I've seen these guys far off right about in the middle of the corner. I probably expect to see that again. Pace car comes back out. Is that for you guys as well?
Yeah,
yes,
pace
sir.
car back on the speedway.
Okay.
The green flag is out anyways.
Oh.
Definitely an issue that iRacing is going to have to attend to. That's interesting.
Good fire away for the 4.
Caution
and we're
back
under
out.
yellow again.
I
Caution
don't think there was
thrown.
anyone
Yeah,
actually
that
spinning.
was thrown. Yeah, Robbie threw that one. To give everybody
Actually,
an
Jared
opportunity
Beasley
to
may
Well,
have
we got
been...
the 77.
Yeah, I think Jared Beasley
Yeah.
might have had something happen there.
Yeah, we got the 77 apologizing. Jared Beasley did have a problem right there. It looked like with the 77 of Kenny Yonce, it looked like the 15 didn't go because of the pace car, and the 77 got into the back of him because of it.
Yeah, something happened to Beasley. He got packed by Kenny Yonce. He got spun into the 711 of David Heiza, and you see the resulting damage to both of those cars. A ton of damage to the number 15. That's Jared Beasley with big, big issues for the Extreme Lawn Care Chevrolet.
And, you know, like, I can understand his confusion possibly not getting on the gas. He sees the pace car, he's going to check up for it. That's pretty much what iRacing tells you to do, even after the green flag is thrown. So he probably didn't want a penalty of passing the pace car or anything. And after seeing the green flag, I guess the 77 just stood on it, just got into the back end of the 15. Just a huge mix-up, and I think most of the part was on iRacing.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to assume as a driver, if you see the rest of the field going, race control will probably take care of you in that case. I don't think they would leave just any one driver out there to hang. So it goes both ways. You know, Kenny Yonce, Jared Beasley, certainly neither one of them did anything wrong. They were just trying to figure out what was going on with iRacing. There was definitely an iRacing issue. The pace car coming back on the track out of turns 3 and 4 in the pit lane. That's something I've never seen before.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe it was an incident
Very confusing.
with, you know, the go around being called there, and then I can't really tell you what happened there.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. It's hard for us to present to you guys because we don't know what to tell you. It was just really bizarre to see. I think on this restart, or after this restart, we may try and talk to Corey Walters. So if you guys can pull him into the interview waiting booth, that'd be great. Once we go back green, I think we should get the 1-to-go signal this time by. It should send Jared Beasley by the pace car to get his lap back. And it will. So Andrew Wooten will line up on the bottom side in row number 1. He is your leader. We'll kick up a quick race summary down the back straightaway. We've had 8 cautions so far for now 43 laps as we complete this one. 2 lead changes on the night. 83 laps complete. And the field is coming to you, Zach.
All right, well, it looks like the place to start right now is in the middle of 3 and 4. Let's see what the 4 does. If he's able to fire off then, the 78 real in front. The 4 will fire off in the middle of the corner. We'll get a good jump on the 78 of Joe Lawrence. The 88 will duck him underneath the 78 of Joe Lawrence. The 88 being Jake Watson. Right now, the battle is for second. Looks like the 78's trying to defend as best as he can. Will not happen. The 88 will take second. Now let's see what the 88 of Jake Watson can do if he wants to get back up to the lead or wants to just leave it to the 4 right now.
Yellow.
Caution's out on the speedway.
Down right behind Mike Bruno, I was following him, and I heard the tire screeches. Another note, it looks like we will not be getting an interview opportunity tonight with Corey. It looks like their hauler's already left the track, so they're on to next week.
I'm trying to find this incident, guys, and I just cannot find it. You said it happened right behind the 19, so we'll head over to the 19 of Mike Bruno and then hit the replay button and see if we can find this for you guys at home. And, oh, it was Bradley Wilson of the 2.
Major netcode.
It was
major netcode there.
Yeah, it was the right front of Bradley Wilson somehow getting extended by about 3 feet into the number 2 of Michael Redding. And I will mention real quick, not to make too much of a joke about netcode, and that's my bad, but netcode, if you haven't seen it before, here on Pit Stop TV or another iRacing broadcaster, essentially what the netcode deal that we talk about is a space that iRacing basically fails on. It's just algorithms. It's an impurity in the connections between the 2 drivers and the server, and you saw there Bradley Wilson, you know, on everyone's screen was in one place, the iRacing server detected him in another, and it was just an impurity on Bradley's connection with the server, possibly also Michael's connection with the server, and it just somehow, whether it was the 51 higher than we saw it, or the number 2 lower than we saw it, iRacing detected the 2 cars as making contact. Obviously on our screen they didn't, but you saw the result of that. The number 2 went around. 51 of Bradley Wilson is the driver that looks like he dumped him. Definitely didn't dump him. It was definitely netcode. It's kind of hard to explain, but essentially it's a bit of an impurity in the connections.
Definitely, it's a interesting thing. It's fortunately it looks like it's been kind of popping back up again in the league races, unfortunately. So it sucks to see that something like that happen, because obviously there's no malintent or anything there. So unfortunately, Michael's gonna get sent towards the back of the field.
And these guys will get ready for the restart one more time under our 9th caution in 91 laps. These guys will be coming to lap 92 when they come at you, Brendan. They're coming into turns 3 and 4. Andrew Rutan in control of the restart once more.
Alrighty, and hopefully this time, once again, we do go green here and no pace car issues. Looks good so far. Here in the middle of the corner where they normally like to fire off. We're going to wait a second and we're going to go. A good start for Andrew Wooten there. Jake Watson's going to be left a little bit on the high side, still not quite clear of Joe Lawrence yet. They start to pull away. The 97 of David Zano is there, and Bruno's right behind him. He's starting to fall back just a little bit, though. It's the top 2 are going to start pulling away with their dominant performance.
Yeah, and it keeps switching.
A little bit of an issue there. I apologize for breaking over you there, Andrew.
Oh, go ahead.
We had a little bit of an issue. We had a little bit of an issue with the 89 of Spence Thompson and the 98 of Jerry Glenn. He was able to back up the group a little bit as the caution comes out. We'll shift our focus to the caution here.
This time, Trevor Harmon goes for a spin. I believe that's turns 1 and 2 that he was spun around in, and it was. Actually, this is going to start off with, I believe, Kelsey Rogers. We'll get a quick view at this. Trevor Harmon was actually behind Kelsey Rogers, trying to get going just a couple of laps into the restart. We'll see what happens between the number 27 and the number 36, rather. And actually, Trevor Harmon just got right up into Kelsey Rogers, sent him for a ride, and the 27 didn't fully spin out until turns 1 and 2. You see the 818 get stopped, Kyle Willis as well. We'll get another look at this because I'm not really sure what happens here. He just kind of washes into the 36. Yeah, he just kind of washed up right into the back end of the 36, sent him for a ride, and you see the result. He got pounded by the 5 of Jason Alexander. Nothing Jason could do. And now it's 10 cautions within 96 laps. Andrew Rutan still in control. And this top 4 domination has not been broken up. Left Turn Motorsports still in control of the event here tonight from the Bullring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Definitely, and I don't know if anyone's going to be able to quite get up there and stop them. We've seen Mike Bruno kind of be able to hang in a little bit there. Bradley Wilson and Tyler Justice definitely had a decent opportunity, but I don't think they ever were in quite a spot where they could start making them pass. So I think we might see a 1 through 4 at the end of the night for Left Turn Motorsports.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't already know, we do stream to more than just Facebook or whatever platform you're watching on. We stream across the board to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Our top 3 choices for streaming websites. Looks like no one's actually utilizing Twitch tonight. That's unfortunate, but it's been utilized in the past. And over on YouTube, it looks like we have a few viewers, 4 of them actually. We had Tyler DiVincenzo in the chat for a bit. Ryan Daniels as well, and Robert Audi. It's not week 13 just yet, so I wouldn't say that would be the internet issue. But thanks everyone for tuning in, utilizing the chat feature across the board. Definitely utilize it some more. Let us know what you think of the broadcast and the race at hand. Andrew Wooten coming into turns 3 and 4 in control of this restart, ladies and gentlemen. Into the corner. We'll wait on the call from the number 4 of Wooten. Waiting on the 4, he's on the loud pedal. Andrew Wooten back into the lead. And he's not getting quite as big of a jump as Jake Watson was earlier in the race. Jake Watson actually going to take second place back from his teammate Joe Lawrence. Now here comes Mike Bruno trying to put up a fight with DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo going to send it on the top side. Here comes Bruno trying to make a pass, though. Won't get his nose down there just yet, Zach.
No, not at all. Almost gets tagged from behind from the 51 of Bradley Wilson. Won't do it, though. The 97 did send it in on the high line. He was able to make it stick, was able to fit himself down into the line ahead. It looks like right now the 2 running away are going to be the 88 of Jake Watson, the 4 of Andrew Wooten. The 88 was just on the back end, almost into him again, getting into the corner. These guys are going to start really battling out as we're getting ready to come to about 40 to go. Almost tagged him going into turns 1 and 2. We'll have the inside line going into 3 and 4, Andrew.
Yeah, Jake Watson taking over that bottom line from Andrew Wooten. He's going to move his Wrangler teammate right out of the way, and now the Clutch Designs machine to the bottom side working is Clutch Graphics machine to the bottom side working pretty much the curb with his left front tires, trying to make something happen here, Brennan.
Definitely, and he wants to lead back, and he's going to get it back again. The Ford just going to come up to the high side, not going to be able to work anything back there. Actually, the 78 of Joe Lawrence is going to make a move here as well.
Yeah, you saw Wooten get into the wall. Now Joe Lawrence through to second place. Jake Watson has led the most laps of the race at 63 now as he crosses the line. And Andrew Wooten trying to fight back on Joe Lawrence, not going to make it happen. Now DiVincenzo going to go work on him. Caution out in the back. Going to hold that up. I think it's possibly David Heisa. No. I think it's going to be Kelsey Rogers. Maybe. I really can't tell. There's so many things going on and so many cars now in the pits. We're going to look back here. It's so
98
hard.
98 of Jerry Glenn. Yeah, the 2 and the 98. Yeah.
And Michael Redding, just got right into the 98 of Jerry Glenn. It was hard to tell if Michael maybe pushed up a little bit or if Jerry Glenn just didn't give him enough room on the bottom side. I think there was some net code involved, so it's kind of hard to get an accurate look at it. We'll look at it one more time, though, this time from the roof of the number 2 of Michael Redding. These guys, I think, were just inside of the top 10 and trying to work their way forward, so we'll get another look at it. Again, this is from Michael Redding looking up at the 98 of Jerry Glenn. These guys will have incident in just about a half a lap.
It looks like the admins deemed aggressive driving on the 2-car of Michael Redding. They gave him an EOL penalty and the longest line on the start of this replay. And again, the 98 getting real lucky, spinning in one of the biggest parts of the track. He was able to actually back up his car all the way up to where everyone's able to enter the track. And didn't take really any damage after that. Again, really lucky spin from the 98 of Jerry Glenn.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the best call to make there, but it's up to the admin. It's up to whatever they deem is aggressive driving. So clearly, Robbie Buckner is up there for a reason. I may not have done the same thing in his position, but he's in that position for a reason. So we'll just leave it at that, guys. But Michael Redding will have to go to the back, just as a couple of other drivers have before him, Trayton Lapsevich notably, as well as Trevor Harmon. So the number 2 now going to have to work his way back through the field. We have just over 40 laps to go, and I think we're coming to the restart here in just about a lap and a half.
One thing to note, I think maybe a possibility we may be seeing a little bit harsher calls just made out as we've had quite a few cautions tonight, so I think maybe it's just come to a, if someone gets spent and spun and it happens to be your nose behind it, we're going to send you to the end of the line just to see if we can get some more green flag laps out there.
Yeah, and of course, as I mentioned, I'm broadcasting this for a reason, and Robbie Buckner is admitting this for a reason. It's just our job to give it to you with our few opinions that we have and just show you the race. So we're just doing our job up here when you call it that way. Again, I mean, no disrespect to the admins for the NMNTS Racing Series. Jake Watson, though, going to get this race restarted in just a moment. We've seen him launch a bit earlier than his counterparts up in the top 4. And he's on the loud pedal again. Jake Watson launching pretty early to get a big lead on his teammates. But Joe Lawrence isn't too far behind. He's going to take over the second spot, cut off the number 4 of Andy Rutten. These guys are going to fall back into single file. Andy Rutten loose out of turn 2, trying to hold on to that spot. Devennanzano now going to push to the inside.
Like Bruno's right there with him right now. Let's see if he can hold on to this stint. He kind of fell back a little bit towards the end of the last one.
And it looks like these front 4 are going slower to go faster. It looks like most of the guys behind them are overdriving the corners a little bit, or maybe getting a little bit too hard on the brakes to blow up their cars. These front 4 are taking it nice and easy, it looked like. So I think these front 4 are using the term to slower to go faster, and it's obviously working for them as a caution comes out yet again.
This time it's going to be Trevor Harmon, David Heise, Jason Alexander involved in turns 1 and 2. We'll go back and see the exact cause here. Michael Redding got loose ahead of these guys, and actually Michael Redding right into the number 27. That one was definitely a bit more aggressive than the previous. And you see the number 27, Trevor Harmon, just gets cleaned out. He goes for a spin in turns 1 and 2. We'll get one more look at this as the number 27 out of Fort Mojave going to go around for a big spin in turns 1 and 2 once more. And of course, he got piled into by the 7-11 and the 5. We'll get one more look at what goes on here. Just nowhere to go for these guys. They're trying to miss something, and Trevor Harmon even gave the 2 plenty of room. He just kind of pushed up, had a little too much speed in the turns 1 and 2, and Jason Alexander just couldn't stop in time. He ends up plowing into David Heise, and at least does his own motor in. And actually, Trevor Harmon went for another spin trying to get up to speed. This track is pretty slick, and these cars are generally pretty loose at the lower speeds coming up through the gears. So Trevor Harmon went for an extra spin there in the flip switch Chevrolet. And again, just want to go back to my statement a bit ago. Again, no disrespect meant to Robert Buckner and the other admins in the series. Just, you know, you can't go through a Fox broadcast without at least 27, I'd say, of Darrell Waltrip's opinions. It's part of our job. Don't mean any disrespect. So they're making the right call, you know, obviously for them. And Brennan, you hit the nail right on the head, not right on the hammer. We'll mention that. I am not letting you live that one down, because we've had 12 cautions now for over 60 laps, and that's definitely an issue when you have any race. The fact that we've had 12 cautions in just 150 laps, really, actually 120 laps, so it's almost marking out to almost marking out to 1 every 10 laps. That's definitely an issue that the NMNTS series admins will take care of throughout the season. You know, it's little steps at a time, baby steps when they're trying to take care of an issue like that, trying to get these races to go clean and green. When you shove 28 cars on a track versus the 9 or 10 that we see in the Virtual Oval Championship, obviously that's the difference. They go clean and green with 9 cars. These guys are trying to do it with 28. There's a bigger difference.
Definitely, everybody's getting back in. No penalty awarded this time around. I think possibly just the 2's already towards the back of the field. Get ready to go green.
Jake Watson back in control. Again, we've seen him restart these races earlier than his teammates, and he's off and away. Jake Watson in control of the race once more, but Joe Lawrence is starting to figure these restarts out. He's right on his back bumper. Joe Lawrence not letting Jake Watson get away.
We lost the 97.
Oh yeah, an issue for Tyler Devennanzano. Devennanzano going to blink out of the event. Looks like he's having some connection issues. Now it's Mike Bruno into 4th place. The MR Motorsports driver taking over that position. Now Bradley Wilson looking for 5th, Zach.
Yeah, and I'm looking at some of the pings and everything right now. It looks like the 97, he has everything in the green. He looks like he will blink out of this. He has yet to come back. As we continue looking through the field here, the 7, as the caution comes out, everyone will get single filed again. Shift our focus towards the caution.
And I'm not sure where that was, but I think it may have been Jesse Mason in the number 3. As we'll try and track him down. My scroll wheel is jumping all over the place, but I believe that was the 3 of Jesse Mason. Am I wrong?
He's still riding with some of these guys up here. Didn't look like he slowed down at all.
Then he may have had the same issue as the 97.
Oh, the
15.
15.
Yeah, the 15, yeah.
I was going to say, I didn't see Mason on my driver list here for a minute, but you guys are mentioning, yeah, definitely the 15 got turned straight into the wall. I'm not sure what happened. We'll go back and get one more look at it.
98 ended up hitting the wall right in front of him. I think it was just a move to get around the slow car, and unfortunately the 77 gave him a little help there.
Yeah, that was almost a 1-2 punch from the Yonce father and son combo. Kenneth Yonce, got into the 98 of Jerry Glenn a little bit, sent him up the track just the slightest bit into the fence, and then trying to slow down for that. Jared Beasley, I think, checked up a bit more than usual, and Kenny Yonce barely, and I'd say barely, tagged the back end to him, got the rear tires lifted off the ground, sent him for a spin, and again, almost a bit of a Yonce 1-2 punch. That's kind of interesting. Maybe we'll see more of that, but in a better way, possibly Tuesday night, maybe? I believe we're going to Las Vegas. I don't know why I say believe. We are going to Las Vegas, and those two will both be in it. They're definitely just trying to do their best week in, week out. Kenneth Yonce actually had a really good run in the Cup race last weekend that Zach totally missed the last half of. Yeah, sorry. I love to pick on you. It's so easy sometimes.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell.
But no, Kenneth Yonce, rather, had a really, really good run at Atlanta in the Cup car, and I think it's really fitting to me to see him up in the front more and more. He's in 12th position, doing pretty decently, but can't exactly close up into the top 10. Kenny Yonce, one of the rookies to the series and to iRacing in general, just trying to find his place to fit in, having some more struggles than his dad, but still trying to figure this out and doing a pretty good job of it. Now Jake Watson's still in control. They're coming to you this time, Zach.
All right, well, most notably, while you were talking there, Andrew, an EOL was given to the 77 of Kenny Yonce. They deemed it aggressive driving. As we continue to go towards the green flag here, the 88 will look to fire off like he usually does. Right there in the middle, the 78 does get a better launch. The 51 does not. A little bit of a checkup on the inside, though. We're going to continue to look up here towards the front. Ford gets a really good jump on the inside of Mike Bruno. We're kind of leveling out. Now the 9 is looking to the outside of the 51 of Bradley Wilson. Aiden Young is, however, he's able to stick with him as of right now. We're going to see if Aiden Young can power that high line as caution comes out.
Caution number, I think it's 13 on the speedway. We'll see exactly what it's for this time.
Ooh, the 8. Is that the 8 or the 3 car, it looks like?
This time it will be Jesse Mason. Then if it is him, we'll take a look back, see what happens.
Oh. It looks like he got it clipped by a little bit of a net code issue, and then it just continued to go on from there right on the front stretch from the 8 of Clayton Kurtz.
Yeah, and that was a pretty big hit. We'll get one more look at this from our turn 1 cam, as these guys are going to be coming right by us pretty quickly. We'll see this whole thing unfold in front of us. Jesse Mason just gets tagged, and man, just sent right up into the turn 1 tire barriers, actually, to protect that pit exit out of the speedway into the outlying premises. And Jesse Mason going to have some big issues with that number 3.
Oh. Took one heck of a damage. He took one heck of a hit, I should say. My apologies on that one.
Heck of a damage.
One heck of a damage, yeah.
One heck of a damage.
Man. I need to stop doing these.
Another one for the books.
That's another one, yeah. End. We're getting more and more. Justin Bliss in the comments asking what game this is. Well, if you mentioned that it was a game to most anyone on the simulation, you'd get some backlash. It's most notably known as simulation. This is iRacing.com, motorsport simulations. You can go to iRacing.com for all the info you would ever need on iRacing, and it is subscription-based, so you do have to pay for it, much like Xbox Live, or I believe it's PlayStation Network. So you do have to pay for it just on a monthly basis, a 3-month basis, whatever you choose. You can even go up to 2 years if you so please. I believe they do 40% off new memberships, so definitely go over there and sign up. You get that incentive to at least sign up and check the game out, or simulation out, sorry, before I offend anyone. It's certainly worth it if you're a big race fan. They've got anything from these super late models up to Daytona prototypes for Daytona, and the Rolex 24, even the 12 Hours of Sebring coming up this next weekend. All the way back down to little Pontiac Solstices from like 2005 that don't belong in the simulator, in my opinion, because they are just that slow. But you've got literally anything that you could want on the simulator, and it's definitely worth checking out as these guys get doubled up for the restart. And Melanie Wilson out there in the chat rooting on Bradley. He's restarting 5th. What do you say we go on board with him, guys? Zach, it's your call for the restart.
Radio, as the pace car takes a hard left again, the 88's probably going to fire off right there in the middle of the corner. Let's see if the 78's able to get a better jump. The 88 waited just a little bit there. Was able to get a good jump again on the 78 of Joe Lawrence. The 4, Andrew Wooten, will be looking to his inside. This is going to be a really good opportunity for another driver to possibly get himself into the top 3, try to break this stranglehold. Right now, the 4 and the 78 almost make contact coming out of 4. This is going to allow the 88 to drive away.
Contact!
Oh, a little bit of contact given. The 78 did not like the way the 4 was driving him. Give him a little bit of a bumper. They will level out, however. The next battle being Aiden Young, Mike Bruno, and Bradley Wilson right here for about 5th.
Remember, though, those guys are teammates. I don't know if that was exactly displeasure so much as just running out of room. These cars are pretty big. They have pretty big noses, as you see Bradley Wilson go for the move underneath Aiden Young into turns 3 and 4. 13 laps to go this time. We'll look back through the field for the last time tonight. Terry Mason trying to work on Spence Thompson. Again, Terry Mason finding his way into the top 10, just doing what he has to do, keeping that car as clean as he can, playing Mr. Consistent. What do you got for us on Trevor Harmon here, Zach?
Looking back at Trevor Harmon. Let me find him real quick. I apologize. There he is. I apologize about that. Right now, Trevor Harmon does have a little bit of damage to his right front. He is kind of slipping back away from Michael Redding a little bit. Oh, we'll get tagged by the 00 of Gordon Larson. Have to check up a little bit behind him will be the 98 of Jerry Glenn. But right now, Trevor Harmon having a night, so to say. He's had some troubles here and there. Just hasn't really been able to whip the car where he wants it to. Looking back up front here, it looks like the 88 is just driving off away from his counterpart teammates, the 4 of Andrew Wooten, the 78 of Joe Lawrence.
As we check out the rest of the field, Brennan, I think Jared Beasley would be a good one to talk about real quick before we go back up to the front. What do you have on the 15?
Jared Beasley right now, he's the last one that's going to be scored in the lead lap here. Kind of running his own show here. He's getting past the 82 of Daniel Hasser.
This is going to involve the leaders right here.
Yep, here they come. A lot of damage to the rear end. He's had a rough night so far. The 88's going to clear him just fine on the inside. Being courteous to give him the inside line there. Here comes the 4.
Oh, almost pinches him. They didn't know.
Contact.
And I think Jared was trying to get out of the way. He almost came back up into Joe Lawrence. I think Jared was just trying to get out of the way and play nice. And unfortunately, they just kind of went to the same place and occupied the same real estate. Tyler Justice almost into the back end of Bradley Wilson. Jared Beasley slowing down to get out of the way now as Jake Watson starting to power off into his own zip code, almost like Tyler Justice usually does. It's a very clean race car, clutch graphics on the hood, and he's done a really good job of taking care of that sponsor to number 88. He's led over 100 laps now, 104, and he's won the battle at the beach here, presented by the CEA. So obviously he knows what he's doing at the Bullring, and did I say battle at the beach? It's battle at the Bullring. I totally messed that one up. There is no beach anywhere to be found. Believe me, in Las Vegas. Even if you go to the lakes, that's not a beach. I promise you, that is not a beach. However, 2 laps to go for the number 88. Now 1.5 laps to go. Just what a great performance from him tonight, guys.
Yeah, what an absolute drive it was for him. He obviously tell he deserves this win. As we take the white flag, he's put on quite a show for all of us.
Oh, Trevor Harmon around a bunch more cars.
The four is gonna
Andrew Wooten goes through. Now Joe Lawrence, he gets held up. Andrew Wooten through to the lead.
Try to get him, and the four's gonna
It's Joe Lawrence. Or not Joe Lawrence, sorry, Andrew Wooten. Wow.
Oh my god.
I need the Steve Harvey card. Jeez. Absolute heartbreak for Jake Watson. These guys were just wrecked out of turn 2, and there was nowhere for the leaders to go.
No way. Guys, I'm sorry, but this should be the 88's win.
No, I agree. I agree. Jake
Yeah.
Watson had that one in the bag. I don't even know what happened.
No.
I think Spence Thompson got involved in this last lap incident. He went way to the back. Clayton Kurtz, I don't think was actually, but we'll try and find where this started. Oh, this started with the 98. Jerry Glenn, I think he was turned around first.
Those guys had already taken the white flag, unfortunately, so no caution was thrown out there. It's just how iRacing works on that.
Oh no. Well,
Jerry Glenn just went for a heck of a... Actually, no, that was... It's hard to really say who's at fault, but, I mean, you want to so badly to find somebody to put on the coals, I guess, for this one. It's hard to say who's at fault. If anyone, maybe Jerry Glenn for not holding the brake after he spun. I will say that. But I don't know who we can kind of point to as far as who caused this one. I'm looking back at the replay, guys, and it's hard to tell because the 98 goes to the bottom, sure, but it ends up being the 711 to the 27, and I think that was more so Trevor Harmon trying to get into the corner. And then, yeah, the 70 or the 98 rolled back up the track. I'm not sure what that was about, and that's what allowed Andrew Wooten to get by. Bradley Wilson got tagged Tyler Justice as well. Aiden Young didn't check up. And I will say, I think these guys were a little too aggressive, being that it was the last lap. Obviously, you don't want to give up spots, but it's better to just come home in whatever spot you're in, or maybe even lose one spot, than wreck somebody and possibly yourself and lose even more points. Just all-out mayhem on this last lap, Brennan.
It definitely, that's quite a turn of events. We've seen some surprise finishes like that. Another one to mention probably would be the Homestead finish in the Xfinity cars last year, like that, where just out of nowhere we had a different winner than what we expected.
And yeah, this is so hard to find somebody to blame. I mean, you can go back over and overanalyze this, but it really just comes down to trying to occupy the same piece of real estate. And it was very minor contact from David Heisen to the 27. It's really hard to blame any one driver in this case. I don't know if you really can, but, you know, for such a big event like that to, you know, change the outcome of the race entirely as far as the winner goes, you want to find somebody. The only thing I can really blame somebody for would be Jerry Glenn rolling back up the racetrack after getting hit, at least causing the change-up for the win. Further after that, you saw Tyler Justice get into the 89 of Spence Thompson, send him around. And you saw contact from him to the 51, actually, of Bradley Wilson as well, Aiden Young into the 7. And just, yeah, a bunch of contact there at the end.
The big junk up, and whoever got through it the quickest was going to be the winner. Just, wow. I mean, I'm wordless. I'm breathless. I don't really know what to say, quite honestly.
Yeah, I'm trying to find something to say. I'm trying to analyze this, and I'm trying to analyze it too hard. So I'm just going to let this one go. I'm going to bring up our top 3. Actually, I believe they may have
it looks like they've already left.
Connected.
Certainly
not good.
On my screen, they're still in the team speak. They're still here.
No.
Yeah, no.
Defendant Zano disconnected. Caden Lapsevich, I believe.
Joe Lawrence is down with Sean Racing. And Andrew Wooten, I believe, as well. They're both down there.
Oh, all three of them are down
Okay,
there.
yeah, they are.
Watson,
They are down
Lawrence,
there.
and-
I see Watson, Lawrence, and Wooten. I don't know where Wooten went.
It'd be Andrew in that one.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
I believe that's
spacing.
Andrew, yeah.
I am definitely spacing. So we'll bring them up into the interview booth. I think they were just trying to find an open channel to head into, and I think that's why they chose that one. Well, Brennan, I'll let you bring up our third place finisher, Joe Lawrence, and get that interview started.
Alrighty. Joe, this is Brendan here in the PSI booth. You got a copy of this?
Sure do.
Alrighty, buddy. Well, I don't think that's a finish anyone could have predicted there. Coming home third tonight, though. How'd the car and the track feel for you tonight?
It wasn't too bad. I think I just we're allowed to choose what box we got in the car, and I think I just picked the wrong one. It was struggling. I had too much wheel into it all night, and didn't really have anything for those two up front. I started to figure it out at the end. It was very interesting that last lap. That was definitely a little scary. I was more hoping for something calm and just bring her home top three, but either way, top three is what happened, and pretty good night.
Yeah, definitely. I think all the guys there at the Left Turn Motorsports really put on quite a show tonight, even as you mentioned with the steering box not really being the helping hand for you. You guys really were out front all night, and even your teammate there unfortunately didn't get to finish, Dave Anzano. All four of you to include in that. You really were dominating out there tonight, so I think that was a really good show you guys put on.
Yes, quite happy with that for sure. Definitely unfortunate for Tyler and dropping out there, but we'll definitely be back next week, and hopefully we can keep up the momentum we're building here and get a couple more wins.
Alrighty, sounds good. We'll give you the opportunity here. Anybody you'd like to shout out?
Just CN Chassis and Left Turn Motorsports. Done a great job, and today was another day. So we'll keep at her and have some fun. It was great to be here with you guys.
Alrighty, we'll get you moved back down. Congrats again on the third place tonight.
Thank you.
Again, that was our third place finisher, Joe Lawrence, in the number 78 from Left Turn Motorsports. Teammates of Jake Watson and Andrew Wooten, and even Devin Anzano, and I believe Lapsovich may have been in that crew as well. And again, those four, at least in the front, that were in the front all night, just dominated tonight. Joe Lawrence led 12 laps of 150. Now on to you, Zach, with our second place finisher, Jake Watson.
Alrighty. Jake Watson, this is Zach up here in the PSI TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so I feel like bringing anything up at the end would be extremely thin ice for right now. So let's just talk about the start of the race. You started third, excuse me. You got out front. What was the difference between qualifying and the race, and what made you so much faster when the race came around?
I just saved all I could and, just took it easy, worked with my teammates, Joe, Andrew, and Tyler and all them guys. We just talked and we saved all our stuff, and we lasted to the end.
Yeah, you guys really did put on a show. You guys had an absolute stranglehold on the whole field all the night. So this is bringing us to the end here. First off, what did you see when you were coming out of turn 2? What was the first thought coming out of turn 2?
I honestly didn't see anything until I was right on the exit turn 2. I saw them wrecking, and I picked the wrong spot to go. I thought I had the fastest car. I think we did. Just didn't have the luck to pull it off here. But good win to Andrew. Yeah,
like we were saying, you had a really fast car. I want to say you led at least 110 laps. I want to say tonight. You had an extremely fast car. We're looking forward to seeing you next week. See if you can dominate like you did last night. Just bad luck bit you right there on the tail end of the race. Before we let you go, you got anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank all my teammates for helping me that race, and Kane Lapswitch for spotting me, Clutch Graphics, Cyclone Racing Shocks, CN Chassis, and everyone for putting on the show.
All right, well, we hear you, buddy. Well, we thank you for being so calm. There's some drivers that would have been a little bit more vocal, so to say, about the end of the race, but we thank you for being calm and really collected, really professional. We thank you for your time tonight, and we look forward to seeing you next week, buddy.
All right, see you guys.
Again, that was the number 88. Jake Watson came home in second place tonight. Nothing to be ashamed of, but it definitely has to hurt after leading over 100 laps here tonight at the Bullring. And Zach, I think you had a little misinformation, maybe got the wrong picture when I mentioned the battle at the Bullring. That was a couple of months ago.
But what did I say?
Sounded like you said that he won the battle of the Bullring last night, maybe? Sounded a bit interesting. I don't know if maybe you got the wrong picture, but I will say Jake Watson did a heck of a job. You can check it out on LSR TV. It was the Battle at the Bullring feature from the Bullring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. He put a great move on at the end. Unfortunately, I believe something happened. He may have gone put to the back, so actually he didn't win. I may have been wrong, but I know he should have been first. He finished first, and there was something, he may have gotten a penalty. We'll give him the credit for the win anyways. In my opinion, he won that thing. He came across the line first, so I could be remembering that a little bit differently. So I apologize if I've been saying it completely wrong all night long. So Jake Watson, please don't put a spear through my head. Anyway, you can check it out on LSR TV. It's, I think, worth the watch. Because, guys, if you haven't seen it, I think it was 300 laps at this place. We just had 150. Can you guys imagine the grueling length of 300 here?
No. No. No.
Just, be it as a driver or as just a spectator, that would be a long one. Up there with the Southern 500 in NASCAR or something else like that. It's just, it's too much. Or I should say the Coke 600 in NASCAR, really. The Indy 500 in IndyCar, just something like that. It's just an insane amount of time. But as we have Jake Watson through with interviews, we're going to bring up our race winner, Andrew Wooten. Andrew, oh wait, whoa, okay. Sorry, TeamSpeak kind of messed up. Andrew Wooten, this time do you have a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Well, Andrew, you did a heck of a job to come home in first place tonight. You led 31 laps en route to victory. What can you tell us about that number 4 car tonight?
I'd have to probably outline it with luck, most definitely. But I mean, the car was pretty fast all night. You know.
Well, yeah, it was definitely fast, as well as your 3 teammates up there in the front joining you, Jake Watson, Joe Lawrence, and at one point in time for most of the race, you had Tyler DiVincenzo. A great run from you and your teammates over at left turn. Tell us about the last lap there out of turn 2. Obviously, you were not going to win the race, and then just mayhem out of turn 2. Tell us all about that from your perspective.
Yeah, I was, you know, I was just trying to get to the finish line and get a 1, 2, and 3 right there, and I saw Jake get on the brakes pretty hard, and then I saw smoke, and Jake went high, and I seen a lane down low, and that's where I went. So that's like I said, it was luck, man. Jake was on the rope tonight, and he definitely had the better car there.
Well, it's pretty humble to admit that your teammate had a better car. Although I think the numbers will back you up in that statement. He led 107 laps, would have been 108 with that last one, but you were able to get through. Tell us about navigating that. Obviously, it was a surprise. You just kind of told us about getting by Jake and that it was more luck, but just, you know, obviously he went high, you went low. What was the thought process behind which way to turn that steering wheel out of turn 2?
Yeah, I saw a car sitting sideways there in 2, and like I said, I was on Jake's back bumper, and honestly, I started to follow him, and I saw a lane down low, and I mean, there was there was like 3 cars right there, and I was just, I mean, it was almost just swerving in and out of cars left and right, but made it through somehow, and then, you know, saw Jake get back behind me there, hoping he couldn't get close enough there to me, because I mean, we normally race each other hard, man. But yeah, Jake, he was on a rope tonight, and you know, I got to thank him and Joe and Tyler and all those guys for working with me and driving me clean, and the rest of you guys.
Yeah, you certainly did a pretty good job in that number 4, whether you were in the lead or not. You did, again, lead 31 laps, so that's nothing to be ashamed of, especially getting the win. Jake Watson, your teammate, as well as Joe Lawrence, picking up a lot of laps led as well. I believe you ran pretty decently a couple of weeks ago at 5 Flags. Ended up not getting able to get the win, but tell us about this win and what it means for your season.
Yeah, well, a win's always good, man. Yeah, that 5 Flags race, I I led most of the race, and I kind of drifted off there and then completely forgot about the changing lanes thing, and they got me for it. But hey, the rules are the rules, man, and it applies to everybody. But you know, on the other hand, yeah, it's good to get a win tonight. Most definitely luck, but hey, we'll take it, man.
Sounds good. Before I turn you over to Zach and Brennan, I want to ask you one more thing about the race tonight. We saw restarts play into the race a ton. I think we had 14 cautions for 72 laps. It's obviously a really high amount for just 150 laps, but you know there were still some shorter green runs in between, but you still had some time to stretch your legs out. Tell us about, you know, nailing those restarts each and every time. We saw you in control for quite a few of them, and we also saw Jake Watson in control for quite a few of them. And obviously they were important. What were you trying to do to maximize what you could do on those restarts?
Honestly, I was just trying to get a good enough start to get in line. I knew I had to get in line pretty quickly, and but yeah, it was a little tricky. You know, if you wasn't the leader there, it was a little tricky getting in line, or that track started getting a little slick. But we managed to keep the wheels up under it and get a good finish.
Sounds good. Well, this time, you got to thank you for your time. You got to congratulate you once more on the big win here tonight at the battle, or not the Battle of Bullring, but at the Bullring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Zach, Brennan, you guys got anything for him?
I've got nothing, but just a great run by you tonight. Good luck. And we look forward to seeing you next week there, buddy.
Yes, same thing. Sorry. It's just the same thing. Good. Congrats on tonight, and hopefully we can see you next week with another really dominant performance with you and your teammates.
Yeah, appreciate you guys, man, and the broadcasting and taking the time to do all this. And like I said, huge shout out to my team, man. Jake, Joe, Tyler, some other guys, Will, Caden, Trayton, Jarrett. I mean, I got to thank all those guys, man. Without them, this wouldn't happen for me. So, and also like to thank CN Chassis, Clutch Graphics, Cyclone Shocks, and yeah, appreciate everything, guys.
Sounds good, man. Well, hopefully we get to see you and your team back out here next week as we go to Phoenix, Arizona and ISM Raceway in Avondale for 100 more laps of the Super Series action. Hopefully we see you back with hopefully all 4 of your teammates. I believe you had 4, right? Lapsevich was on your team, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so yeah, hopefully we see all 5 of you. It was great to see you pretty much, literally, I shouldn't even say pretty much, just definitely dominate the night. Great run from all y'all. Even Devendenzano and Lapsevich, you guys did pretty good. Lapsevich had a car, just couldn't get it done, couldn't get up through the field. But just great run from you in the number 4 and the 88 and 78. You guys were the 3-lap leaders, and you came home in the top 3. So give yourselves a pat on the back. Hopefully we get to see you next week and beyond.
Yes, sir. We'll definitely be back, and thank you guys again.
No problem. And again, that was your race winner out of Carolina, Andrew Wooten, in the Wrangler number 4. He may have a different paint scheme on there. It didn't show up for me on Trading Paints, though. Do you guys see something different?
I see a black, black, red, and gray number 4 for him.
All right, so I just see the iRacing paint scheme he must have on there then. So there may have been an issue with my Trading Paints, but certainly either way, a great run from him in the number 4 tonight. Brendan, I'll give it to you for the top 10 on our overall results.
Alrighty, well, as we spoke with the top 3 tonight, Andrew Wooten's going to come home with the win. Jake Watson, unfortunately, second place. Just that last lap incident there that, fortunately, he couldn't quite get around. First place, Joe Lawrence in third. 4th tonight's going to be Mike Bruno. 5th going to Aiden Young. 6th going to Terry Mason. 7th and it's going to be Clayton Kurtz. 8th to Michael Redding. 9th to Kenneth Yonce. And 10th place tonight's going to be Tyler Justice.
Starting 11th is, I apologize. Finishing 11th is going to be Bradley Wilson. 12th is going to be Gordon Larson. 13th will be Spence Thompson, first car lap down. 14th, Kenny Yonce. 15th, Jesse Mason. 16th, Derek Robinson. 17th, David Heiza. 18th, Jerry Glenn. 19th, Trevor Harmon. And rounding out our top 20 will be Kyle Willis.
In the 21st position will be Jared Beasley, 3 laps behind the leaders. Daniel Hosser going to come home in the 22nd position after a very tumultuous night for the number 82. Tyler DiVincenzo ends up leaving the race early with connection issues, finishes 23rd in the number 97. Had a great car for a while, never got to the lead, but certainly had the ability, and I think if he was still up there at the end, he would have had something to say about the finish. Kelsey Rogers comes home in 24th. Jason Alexander follows him up in 25th. Trayton Lapsevich ends the night early, 86 laps behind in 26th, not 32nd. Alan Westman ends up having an early exit, as well as Corey Walters, both 104 laps behind in 27th and 28th, respectively. Joseph Andujar was cut from the race due to the maximum number of pit stalls being reached, so there just wasn't a pit stall for Joseph Andujar to occupy. He goes home tonight with 29th place points, I believe, and unfortunately just nothing to show for it. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure having you alongside of me as always. It was definitely fun watching this race, albeit with the 14 cautions we had. It's just something these guys get to work out throughout the season. I think as these guys grow more accustomed to each other, those cautions will probably go down throughout the year of 2018. Definitely come back more throughout 2018 to Pit Stop TV for more NMNTS action. Just about every single Sunday night will be the Super Series with the super late models on short tracks all across America. On Monday nights, we'll have the NASCAR trucks going to various different speedways across the states, including one in Canada. That's going to be a Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, as well as the Cup Series, which will be going all over America as well. Should be a lot of fun Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, not to mention our other leagues on various days throughout the week. Guys, do you have any closing thoughts?
Just gonna say overall tonight, pretty good race. We got some pretty good, decent race action up front. Unfortunately tonight, I think it's just kind of the nature of the track a little bit that is just a lot of cautions. Unfortunately, ended up being, I think, pretty close to just about half the race was under the cautions. So, as you mentioned, something hopefully will get worked out here for the league. That way, stuff like this isn't happening quite as often. But overall, pretty good run. We got to see some new faces out front, so that's always exciting to see.
Yeah, like Brendan said, it's just the nature of the beast at this track, and you know, people got into each other. They were really some of them haven't really driven with others before, and they were just trying to get accustomed to their style, the way they drive. So, a off night for some of these drivers. A crazy finish, a wild finish, but it was an enjoyable race, and I'm glad that you were able to bring us up for tonight.
Definitely a crazy finish there at the end, like you mentioned, Zach. That's got to go up there, like Brennan said earlier, with the finish at Homestead, with Gordon Larson Jr. winning the race at Homestead in the Grand National Series last year, as well as the championship. It has to go up there with that. I mean, Jake Watson had it in the bag. Unfortunately, something happened. He went high, and you know, like Jackson Allen said in the Facebook chat, 9 times out of 10, that's a safe move. This time, though, was that 10% chance of it just going awry. And that's exactly what happened to the poor number 88, Jake Watson. He comes home in second place, had the car to beat all night long, 107 laps led, like we mentioned, and unfortunately just didn't get to close out on the night. Certainly had to be the class of the field, along with his teammates of Andrew Rutten, who did come home in first, and Joe Lawrence, and even DiVincenzo, who came home quite a few positions where he was running, about 23rd, but still part of the class of the field. Nothing to be ashamed of there from those four. With that, though, we'll be closing up for the night. This has been Pit Stop TV. Zach Lindgren, Brendan Elsoff, and Andrew Cardinale in the booth. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Obviously, tune in more. We'll have NMNTS action from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway tonight. Or tomorrow night, sorry. It should be a lot of fun. That'll be the Monday Night Trucks. And, Zach, I know you'll be in the race. It should be really exciting to see the class of the field each week, week in, week out, sorry, in the NMNTS. Man, I am just failing. Wow. NMNTS will be there tomorrow night, and it's certainly worth a tune in. Gotta thank Discount Shop Towels, SimSpec PC, BA Graphics, JV Paints, TJ Designs, TN Designs, iWraps, Wall Crusher Designs. Man, there's a lot of designing companies out there tell you what, we got to thank everybody for putting their hard work and effort into our streams and the NMNTS in general. We'll see you next time again. Tune in tomorrow night for more action.